After I lost my job, my husband said his parents would help us out. I thought that meant a loan. But then my MIL showed up with a list. If you're living off us, you'll follow our rules. Rule number 1, no makeup. Rule number 2, dinner must be served by 6 p.m. sharp. When I refused, she cut the Wi-Fi, took the car keys, and canceled my doctor's appointment. That night, I called her bluff. And she called the cops, claiming I was a trespasser. I never expected to lose my job at 34. I worked as a medical assistant in a family clinic just outside Denton, Texas. I'd been there 6 years. Showed up early, worked through lunch, stayed late when needed. I was good at it. I helped people. Then, one Monday morning, I got called into the office. The clinic director looked pale, nervous. Said it wasn't personal. They were shutting down our whole department. I got a check and a weak hug. That was it. I sat in the parking lot and cried so hard I couldn't breathe. My husband, Brad, didn't react much when I told him. Just said, "It's okay. We'll figure it out." He hugged me, rubbed my back, said his parents could help us out for a bit. I thought he meant money. Maybe a couple hundred to help with rent or groceries. Something temporary, like a patch over a hole. Instead, 2 days later, his mom, Marlene, walked into our apartment with a clipboard and a folder. She didn't knock. She didn't say hi. She walked in like she owned the place and dropped the folder on our kitchen table. "This is what we expect if we're going to support you during this time," she said. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. There were 13 rules. Typed, numbered, stapled. The title at the top said, "Living Under Our Support, Agreement for Standards and Behavior Rule Number 1. No makeup. Rule number 2, dinner must be served by 6 p.m. sharp. Rule number 3, no phone or computer usage after 8 p.m. Rule number 4, all meals must be pre-approved by Marlene. Rule number 5, attend church on Sundays. No exceptions. Rule number 6, no contact with troublemakers, her term for my friends. Rule number 7, daily chores list to be completed before Brad comes home. Rule number 8, weekly sit-downs with Marlene to review progress. Rule number 9, TV limited to 1 hour per day. Rule number 10, must wear modest, proper clothing at all times. Rule number 11, must agree to any and all requests from Marlene in the spirit of family unity. Rule number 12, no spending without approval. Rule number 13, any violation could mean immediate removal. I stared at it in disbelief. I looked at Brad, waiting for him to say something. To say this was a mistake. That she was out of line. He didn't. He said, "It's just until you get back on your feet." I said, "So I'm supposed to live like a prisoner in my own house?" He said, "Don't be dramatic." That night, I found my makeup bag gone. She'd taken it. I asked Brad. He said, "You don't need it right now. You're not working." Like my appearance was no longer mine to manage. The next day, the Wi-Fi stopped working. When I asked, Marlene said, "It's not good for you to sit online all day." The car keys disappeared. My phone line was cut off. I was stuck. She canceled my doctor's appointment for a thyroid issue by pretending to be me. She told the clinic I'd no longer be needing care and not to call again. I confronted her, and she looked me dead in the face and said, "If you're living off us, you follow our rules." I told her I didn't agree to this, that I wasn't a child. She said, "You're acting like one. Maybe this is what you need." I told Brad she was crossing a line. He shrugged. "It's not that bad. Just follow the rules. You're making this harder than it needs to be." That was it. I knew then he wasn't going to stand up for me. He wasn't going to help me. He was fine watching me be humiliated as long as his mom handled the money and made his life easy. So I started planning. First, I stopped fighting. I nodded when Marlene talked. I cooked dinner at 6. I wore the clothes she approved. I even went to her weird Sunday church group and took notes in the little prayer journal she gave me. But behind her back, I started gathering proof. I found my old phone and charged it up. I had a prepaid card I'd forgotten about, $1.17 on it. Enough to start. I looked through Brad's laptop one afternoon when he left it open and saw emails. He was transferring money out of our joint account to a separate one. Quietly. He even had a message to a realtor in Tyler asking about listings for a one-bedroom. He was planning to leave me. Once I was broken down enough, I think. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I saved the emails. I took screenshots. I started taking notes on everything Marlene said and did. The things she called me. The names. The times she said, maybe if you weren't so bitter, God would have given you a child by now. I played along for 3 weeks. Then I refused to agree to her new curfew rule. She snapped. She said, then you're out. I said, try me. She called the cops. Said I was a trespasser in her son's home. Said I was unstable. The sheriff showed up around 9 p.m. I handed him my ID and a copy of our lease. My name was on it. Hers wasn't. He told her to back off. That it was a civil issue. I left anyway. I had what I needed. I moved into my friend Jesse's house. I filed for a restraining order, not just for Marlene, but Brad too. I'd uncovered enough in his emails to know he was part of it. Then I drained our joint account. My name was still on it, and got a lawyer. That's when things really started moving. After I moved out, Brad tried calling. He left voicemails, some angry, some pathetic. You took all the money. That's theft, you know. Then, we can work this out. Just come home. Mom's cooled off. Then, you'll regret this. I didn't respond. I let the lawyer do the talking. I got a job at a clinic in Austin within 2 weeks. It paid less, but it was mine. No one controlled me there. No one checked what I wore or what time I ate. I filed for divorce. Brad acted shocked, like he didn't see it coming. He emailed me, said I was being dramatic again, that I was throwing away everything, that he had just gone along with it because he didn't want to fight with his mom. I ignored him, but I didn't ignore Marlene. See, she made a mistake. When she called my doctor pretending to be me, she used her real name by accident during the call. I got the phone records. The clinic gave me a letter stating that someone impersonated me and canceled my medical care. That's fraud. I gave that to my lawyer too. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. One day, my lawyer called and said, "You need to see this." Marlene had filed a complaint against me. She was trying to get a temporary restraining order, claiming I had threatened her. She even had a witness, Brad. She was trying to flip everything on me before I could fully expose her. She claimed I was mentally unstable, that I'd acted violently during one of her accountability meetings, that I'd lashed out and had to be physically restrained. She even tried to use her church as a character witness. Some old ladies from her Bible group submitted written statements about how lost I seemed. But I had something stronger. I had audio. During one of our last accountability meetings, I had recorded the whole thing on my phone in my pocket. It started with her saying, "You should be grateful anyone still tolerates you," and ended with, "If you ever embarrass me again, I'll make sure no one in this town hires you. Understand?" The rest of the tape was full of gaslighting, manipulation, and her subtle threats. I gave that to the court. I also gave them proof that she impersonated me with my doctor, blocked my medical care, and tampered with my personal property. Her case got thrown out fast. But now things were public. Brad's coworkers started asking questions. Marlene's church sisters suddenly went quiet. The truth started spreading in our old neighborhood. And then I got a message. Not from Brad. From his dad. A man I'd barely spoken to in all the years Brad and I were together. He was quiet, stayed in the background while Marlene ruled the house. His message said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know how far she'd gone. If you need anything, let me know. I'll testify." I didn't respond right away. I just sat with that for a while. Now I had leverage. Not just the recordings. Not just the paper trail. But someone from her own house willing to speak up. Marlene's little kingdom was starting to crack. But I wasn't finished yet. A week after her fake restraining order got tossed, Marlene tried a different tactic. She started showing up at my old job. Not my new job in Austin, the clinic I'd just left in Denton. At first, she was just dropping by, bringing cookies to the receptionist, acting like a sweet old church lady. But she kept asking questions. Did you ever notice anything off about her? Did she ever seem unstable to you? I found out through a friend who still worked there. She warned me, said, your ex-MIL is trying to poison the well. It didn't stop there. She showed up at Jesse's house once, knocked on the door with a fake smile and a Tupperware full of banana bread. Jesse opened it, confused. Marlene just said, I wanted to talk. Woman to woman. I know OP's confused right now, and maybe you're not seeing the whole story. Jesse slammed the door in her face. That night, I called Brad's dad. I'd been sitting on his message, unsure if I could trust him. But after that stunt with Jesse, I needed to know. He answered on the first ring. Yeah, he said. I figured you'd call eventually. Turns out, he wasn't just sorry, he was angry. Quietly angry. The kind of anger that simmers for years without release. She's been like this since before Brad was born, he told me. Controlling. Vindictive. The church ladies love her, but at home, it's her way, or you get crushed. I asked him, why didn't you stop her? He went quiet. Then said, because I didn't think anyone ever would. He agreed to give a sworn statement. Said he'd seen her tamper with my belongings. Said he overheard the plan to make me snap so we can get her committed or something. She'd said once, laughing. He said Brad went along with it, afraid of what she'd do to him if he didn't. I thanked him. I didn't trust him completely, but I believed that part. The next twist came from the lawyer. She said, I think we can push this further. With everything Marlene had done, impersonation, emotional abuse, harassment, we had grounds for civil action. Not criminal, maybe, but enough for a lawsuit. I hesitated. I wasn't after money. I wanted peace. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized Marlene didn't just try to control me. She tried to erase me. She tried to rewrite reality and trap me inside a life I never agreed to. So I said, let's do it. We filed a civil harassment and defamation suit. Word spread fast. Denton's not a big town. Suddenly, people at her church stopped replying to her messages. She got quiet online, deleted half her Facebook posts. But she didn't stay quiet. 2 nights after the lawsuit paperwork was delivered, someone slashed the tires on Jesse's car. Jesse had cameras. They caught it. It wasn't Marlene. It was Brad. Face clear as day, hoodie pulled back, walking up like a man on a mission. He was arrested that weekend. The next morning, I woke up to a voicemail from Marlene. Her voice was shaking. Look what you've done to my family. You should be ashamed. I didn't delete it. I added it to the evidence folder. And I started to plan my next move. After Brad got arrested, things moved fast. The police charged him with criminal mischief and trespassing. He got out on bail the next day, but the damage was done. His job put him on leave. His friends started asking questions. His name showed up in the local paper, small headline, but enough to turn heads. Marlene went silent. Not a single word from her for weeks. I figured maybe she'd backed off, finally realizing she couldn't control everything. That maybe she was ashamed. But no, she was just regrouping. I got a letter in the mail, certified, from her lawyer. It said I owed her money, for months of room and board, for emotional damages, for character assassination. The total? $14,380. I laughed when I read it. It was desperate, childish, but my lawyer said we needed to take it seriously. So we did. We gathered every receipt, every email, every text, every voice memo. We built the kind of case that makes judges frown and scribble fast. Then I got the last piece I didn't even know I needed. One of the women from her church reached out. I didn't know her well, but she'd always been quiet at those Sunday meetings Marlene dragged me to. She said she wanted to meet for coffee. We met at a small diner off the highway. She slid an envelope across the table. Said, I couldn't watch anymore. Inside were printed screenshots. Group chats. Between Marlene and 3 other women. They joked about breaking me down. About making her think she's crazy. One even said, she'll be in a facility by summer if we play this right. I handed the envelope to my lawyer the next day. Court came fast. The civil suit. The claim against me. Everything. It all came to a head in one courtroom in Denton County. Marlene walked in like she always did. Hair perfect, dress ironed, eyes hard. I sat across from her with my lawyer. Calm. When the evidence started rolling in, I watched her face crumble. The recordings. The screenshots. The video of Brad slashing Jesse's tires. The doctor's statement about the impersonation. The voicemail where she called me a problem that needs fixing. The judge didn't even let her lawyer finish. Her claim against me? Dismissed with prejudice. My suit? I won. The court ordered her to pay damages, $22,000. And to stay away from me permanently. Brad? He pleaded guilty. Got probation, fines, and a no-contact order. I walked out of that courtroom free. Fully free. But it wasn't all clean. I lost time. I lost trust. I lost years I'll never get back to a man who stood by while his mother tried to destroy me. And I ignored the signs. I let myself believe I was the one overreacting. That it would pass. That love meant staying even when it felt like drowning. That was my mistake. But now? I've got my own place in Austin. A little one-bedroom near the clinic. I walk to work. I see Jesse every Friday for tacos and bad TV. I sleep through the night. Marlene still lives in Denton. She's quiet now. Her church knows. Her neighbors know. Brad still lives with her, jobless, bitter, and alone. They can keep each other. I'm not afraid of them anymore. They tried to break me, but I remembered who I was, and then I made sure they never forget.